Up in there, you like that, G-move? Yeah, I was trying not to, I saw you laughing and I'm like, yeah. But I'm a professional, I kept it together.
Yes, you did. Very good.
That's
very
right,
good.
that's right.
Hey everyone, welcome back to JR Pro Shop Vids. Today we got a special guest joining us. We got Francois Lavoie back in the house. How's the season been for you?
It's been good, yeah, the season's been all right. There's always some ups and downs, but overall I'm pretty satisfied with it. I had a good showing at the US Open and some other match play appearances. I feel like my game's in a good spot, so yeah, I'm happy with how I'm bowling and I'm happy to be back here.
So while we have you here today, I do want to ask you what's in your accessory kit. What are you taking with you to each tournament and each tour stop?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot that goes into it. Most of what you'll see here is sort of always in my backpack. You've probably seen, if you've been to PBA tournament or Junior Gold, I think everybody kind of walks around with a backpack now. So if you ever wonder what's inside those backpacks, we're gonna talk about that today. Most of this stuff, like I said, is with me all the time. In addition to what's here, obviously my bowling shoes are in my backpack, and try not to forget the bowling balls either. That's pretty important.
All right, so there's a few things in front of me here that are outside of the bag. Let's start with the tape here, the Storm GT tape. Now, what do you use this for? When do you find this being useful during a tournament, for example?
Yeah, this is something that I always have with me. This pack is already open because I've already used some of it, but it's definitely something that I hope I don't have to use. If I'm using this, it means there's something that's bothering me, whether it's like a muscle pain or earlier this year I kind of pulled my groin, so I was using that up in there, and just, yeah, not fun to have to use because it means you're not 100% healthy. Definitely not fun to take off either. Up in there, you like that, G-move? Yeah, I was trying not to, I saw you laughing and I'm like, yeah. But I'm a professional, I kept it together.
Yes, you did. Very good.
That's
very
right.
Good. All right, so a few more things in front of me here. What do you use these things for here?
Yeah, these are probably what I use the most. A couple of chamois, usually a 2-stack is what I do. No real reason other than I just like the way it feels in my hand, and when I'm wiping the ball, use those every single shot. Don't really wipe my the oil line on my spare ball too much, but I do wipe it right around where the fingers and thumb is, and then obviously I try to clear all the oil off of the strike ball every shot. And then over here, I've got something that I personally like to use, standard rosin bag. This one's almost empty, almost time for a new one. And here, just straight rosin that I'll use on my fingers and thumb. And like I said, those are an integral part of my pre-shot routine. I use those all the time before every single shot I throw.
All right, and let's move into the bigger accessory bag here. I know you got a lot of different stuff, so why don't we open this up and see all the smaller things that maybe you're gonna use from week to week, from tournament to tournament.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's get into it. Opening this up, the first thing that pops up kind of loose on top here, some Abralon pads. Carry with me 2,000, 1,000, and 500. I really don't use a whole lot less than 500 or more than 2,000. These are really the three main ones that I use. There's nothing wrong with using any of the other ones. I just find that I get more use out of these three numbers. A lot of times what I'll do, if I'm going to a tournament where I know I might need 500 or 360, then in that specific case I would bring 360, for example. But if I'm just going from tournament to tournament, just these three numbers are good enough. Sometimes I will maybe bring a fresh 2,000 pad in addition to an older one, again, just to sort of have different options. And sometimes I want something that's a little bit more used, and sometimes I want something that's fresher for the surface of the bowling ball. So in this case, I just have three, but like I said, if I'm going to a tournament where I might need something else, I would add to this. The right side here is a smaller accessory bag inside of the bigger accessory bag. And in here, I just have a lot of different thumbs. Going from the far right here is the thumb that I use most of the time. This one's pretty used, it's getting pretty beat up. Holds up pretty well. I don't know exactly how long I've had this, but I want to say probably 2 years.
Wow.
I've had this one.
Long time.
So then after this one is a bigger one. This one just fits a little bit bigger. Red tape on there to tell me that it's a little bigger, and obviously I couldn't remember that just now. Then obviously a smaller one. This one's a little tighter. And then I have two here that don't even have tape in it, just in case, two brand new ones that I'm always ready in case I either break something or I just feel completely off and I want to put some tape in a brand new thumb. Clear pocket in the front here. In here I've got a couple of heels that I might use on different lane approaches if they are slicker or tackier. I've got a little box with some black storm tape. This, I actually don't use black storm tape for my thumb. I use it, sometimes the switch grips fit a little more loosely, so I'll put a piece of black tape. That way when I put the thumb in, it's a little snugger. I don't like the feeling that it's a little loose or I'm gonna lose it. Just a bag here with all sorts of different patches from my sponsor. I've got Storm Turbo, Cool Wick, a couple of Buddies Pro Shop patches. Just carry those with me in case I find myself in a bowling center and I need some patches. And there's the bevel sander sanding.
The sanding disc.
Sanding disc for a bevel sander. I will sometimes use this straight on my hand if I feel like there's a tender spot or something. I'll just kind of go like this and just smooth it out a little bit. It just helps me feel like I'm not gonna rip. Sometimes your skin gets really, really dry and I don't really like that feeling. It feels like there's a chance for the skin to rip open. If I do this, it sort of smoothens it out and it doesn't rip open. My hand, I don't really use anything on my hand. This is what it always looks like. Just got done bowling, so there's still rosin all over, but yeah, no injuries, no tears, no rips, nothing like that. So yeah, occasionally use the, whatever it's called.
The sanding disc. There you go. This one feels pretty rough. It's about 80 grit.
Yeah, yeah, just good for the hand. And under here, we have a few more things. Some soles. We had the heels earlier. Now we have the soles here. We have the different 3G soles. Again, use whichever one I need for whichever environment I'm in. Some approaches are tackier than others. Some are slicker. This, I may be the only person that still uses these. The tape tool.
It's pretty rare.
Yeah, pretty rare, but I use it. I like to be pretty precise with where the tape goes. I think this allows me to be really precise and allows me to put it exactly where I want it. So I use this every time I put a piece of tape in my ball. I think it was Jim Callahan a couple of years ago. He must have put 10 of these inside one of my bags at a PBA tournament. He said, "You're the only person I know that uses these, so if you lose one, you'll have an extra." So I'll be good for a while with these. Shoe brush, really important for the feel on the soles. Storm tape in here. As you can see, this used to be a 500 piece roll, and the roll has gotten much, much smaller because we use a lot of tape and I bowl a lot of games. And over here, I only have 2 of each size, but I always carry some grips in case I need to change grips or in case I drill a ball somewhere. I always have to be able to use the grips that I like to use so that all my balls feel the same. So the grips that I use are the quads in 43 and in 5/8.
All right, Frankie, so I personally have 2 questions here. The first has to do with, you showed us the now smaller roll of white tape. How often are you going through tape and changing the feel of that thumb hole?
Pretty often. A lot of times if we bowl a block in the morning, we stop and we bowl in the afternoon, I will definitely add pieces of tape, just because when I stop bowling, I go and wash my hands shrink immediately, and then come back later. Usually I need a piece of tape in the spare ball and a piece of tape in the thumb that I use at the time. So I'll usually do that. If I bowl late at night and we have to bowl in the morning early the next day, usually I'll take pieces of tape out because then my hand tends to swell, be more swollen the next morning. So, and just throughout blocks, every once in a while, you know, depending on how warm or how cold it is inside the bowling center, I might shrink or swell, and definitely throughout the block, it's not rare to see me grab a ball and either take a piece of tape out or add one in.
All right, and question number 2, we talked about interchangeable heels and soles. Is there a preferred setup that you have on your shoe that you use in most places, or are you the type of player that is changing constantly depending on the center that you're bowling in?
There is definitely a setup that I prefer. On the shoes that I have right now, I have the red 3G heel. That has been my favorite one of the 3G heels. Just I like the feel of it. I like how it helps me stop when I sort of drive into the line. And as far as the sole, I use the number 4, the 3G number 4 the most. But I do have a lot of them because I think it's important to be able to use a whole lot of different varieties just based on the, you know, whether you're bowling on wood or on synthetic, or whether you're bowling in an environment that's really humid or somewhere that's colder. You know, winter in Canada is going to feel different from Florida in the humidity. So being able to change through that and being comfortable with all of them too is really important. I will rarely go to a tournament with a sole that I've never used before. I'll always practice with it and make sure that it feels okay. A lot of times they sort of need to be broken in a little bit. Like the first shot, you kind of want to be careful. Sometimes you'll you'll stick or you'll slide a little too much, more than you thought. So yeah, I like to break them in a little bit, maybe bowl half a game or so with each one of them, at least before I take them, put them in my bag and take them with me to tournaments.
One thing I actually will tell customers when they get a new sole is to use a shoe brush on it before, because that's going to replicate some of that wear over time. They can be a little bit slippery, especially when they're brand new. So take a shoe brush to a brand new sole, just so you can kind of replicate what's going to be further down the line. So it's a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, and just in general, I think like if you look at all of these, they're pretty beat up. Most of them I've used a lot, and I think just a personal preference maybe, but I don't really like new gear all that much. I like to, like I said, I have a preferred setup, and that setup is getting pretty beat up too. My shoes are getting pretty beat up, but I also don't like new shoes because they need to be broken in. So just a personal preference. My thumb, you know, I've used the same thumb for over 2 years now. In different sports, it's kind of the same. You get something that feels good. You know, hockey players don't really like new gear either.
That's true.
So yeah, I stick to the stuff that I like, that feels good, because bowling's all about feel, and you've got to feel good to be able to repeat shots at the highest level.
All right, so before we go, question time. We want to ask you, what accessory in your bag can you not leave home without? Let us know down in the comments below. I want to thank Frankie for being here. Welcome back to Vancouver. It's good to see you after a little while, and we'll see you in the next video.